Hello, and thank you for joining this special webcast for the University of St. Thomas Opus College of Business, Accreditation and Beyond. This morning we will be joining St. Thomas' recent accreditation and discussing it with the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business International, also known as AACSB. We'll also discuss the future plans for the Opus College of Business. Today's webcast will be hosted by Christopher Puto, the Opus College of Business Dean and Distinguished Chair, and John Fernandes, President and CEO of AACSB International. As many of you already know, Dean Puto has been with the Opus College since 2002, previously serving as Georgetown University's Dean at the McDonough School of Business in Washington, D.C. A winner of the National Foundation for Teaching Entrepreneurship's Enterprising Educator Award, Dean Puto's fields of expertise include marketing, consumer and managerial decision-making, and advertising. Interesting fact, Dean Puto holds the distinction of being Duke University's first recipient of a PhD in business administration. Dean Puto's exceptional leadership and team building was key to the AACSB accreditation, and all of us connected with the university are lucky to have him as the head of the Opus College of Business. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce Dean Christopher Puto.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Aaron. It truly is a great honor to be here speaking today. And I especially want to thank all of you, our alumni, students, faculty, staff, and members of the media for joining us today for this webcast. In one way or another, we are all members of the St. Thomas community, and thus we all have great cause to celebrate. Here is our agenda for the next 30 minutes. I want to answer your questions about the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business International, why we decided to pursue accreditation, what it means, what it took to achieve this milestone, and what will be next for the Opus College of Business. Importantly, during the webcast, you can type your questions at any time, and we will answer them at the end. We encourage you to submit them as soon as possible. And for those of you who are watching this broadcast on replay and have questions, you can also submit your questions to us directly at cobdean, that's one word, cobdean, at stthomas.edu. The webcast will be archived within the next 24 hours and available on the University of St. Thomas Opus College of Business website at the address now shown on your screen. I want to start by saying it has been an honor to serve as Dean of the Opus College of Business these past 8 years. Our students bring a variety of backgrounds and passions to the college. These are men and women with the diversity of experience you'd expect from a world-class business school. And while every graduate leaves to pursue his or her own unique career path, I know that each is equipped with a top-notch skill set that, thanks to their education from the Opus College of Business. Receiving accreditation from AACSB has been one of the university's goals for the college for more than a decade, and many of you may be wondering why. In its most simple terms, AACSB accreditation confers upon the Opus College of Business a seal of validity, an affirmation of educational excellence. Each of us is proud of the education we provide, our service in and contribution to our community, and our impact on the region's business and social landscape. Accreditation is an acknowledgement from an outside source, and a well-respected outside source, of the good work we already felt we were doing as a national leader, teaching practical skills and instilling ethics as a core value of business leaders. AACSB opens up wonderful new research opportunities for faculty, and it equips us with more of the tools we need to stay competitive for the best students, the best jobs, and the best faculty in the country. We are thrilled to see our work recognized. Even more importantly, we're excited for the faculty to have greater opportunities for expanding their scholarly endeavors, for the students and alumni to have or be working toward a diploma that will be nationally and internationally recognized, and for our staff to be able to say that they are part of a team that is invested in education and has been globally recognized for their efforts. The Opus College of Business has long offered what we believe to be a world-class business education to our students. Yet it is my strong belief that history will tell us that AACSB accreditation has been, is, and will be a transformative milestone for the college. Our path to accreditation has involved a tremendous effort on the part of our leadership, including the university leadership, staff, faculty, and supporters. It began in earnest in 2001 when the university combined the graduate and undergraduate business divisions to form what is today the Opus College of Business. I began my tenure here in August of 2002 with my first task that of enhancing our MBA programs and launching the full-time University of St. Thomas MBA in 2003. We understood that technology and top facilities were key to enhanced education, and despite the sensitive economy, we were fortunate to provide our students, faculty, and staff, and the community with the $22 million, 84,000 square feet Schultz Hall, home of the Schultz School of Entrepreneurship within the College of Business in downtown Minneapolis in 2005. A year later, 2006, we followed that by opening the $25 million, 80,000 square feet McNeely Hall in St. Paul. These are two of the most technologically advanced academic buildings in the country, adding an unparalleled in excess of 160,000 square feet to our already 90,000 square feet of learning space in the business school. These new spaces have allowed us to build upon two of our school's strong suits, ethics and entrepreneurship. Our business school houses the largest ethics faculty in the country, the largest business ethics faculty in the country, anchored by an endowed chair and a professor who helped found the ethics department function at Harvard. We have integrated ethics teachings into every class within the curriculum and are home to the Center for Ethical Business Cultures and the SAIP Institute, which is an organization that has created a measure for measuring business ethics in cultures and companies. These are both organizations dedicated to assisting businesses in aligning their business practices with their business ethics and corporate values. The college is also home to one of a very few freestanding schools for entrepreneurship and has been named both a National Model MBA Entrepreneurship Program and a National Model Bachelor's Entrepreneurship Program by the U.S. Association for Small Business and Entrepreneurship. Our professional development and research institutes spanning areas such as entrepreneurship, small business, family business, and venture capital ink the entrepreneurial needs of the business community, link them with the expertise developed over St. Thomas' long history as a leader in business education. I believe in what our business school has to offer and what our students will bring to their eventual employers. I believe that others have confidence in the quality of education, as we were lucky enough in 2008 to receive a $50 million gift from an anonymous donor for our business programs, increasing our overall endowment for the College of Business to $70.1 million. In preparing for the accreditation process, we placed a great deal of emphasis on recruiting some of the finest business faculty in the country. While many universities face a challenge in recruiting highly credentialed PhDs, our college has added 52 full-time business faculty since 2003 to reach our current total of 105. These are individuals with doctoral degrees from institutions, and I'm just going to name a few, such as Duke, Northwestern, Stanford, University of California, Berkeley, University of Texas, Austin, University of Nebraska, Michigan State, Wharton, and the University of Minnesota. Yet our faculty are more than talented scholars. They are gifted teachers whose passion for mentoring and coaching is equal to their extensive research, consulting, and business backgrounds. That's one of the reasons they've chosen to join us. This extraordinary group of faculty is here because they want to make a difference in the lives of individual students and to pass on their experience and expertise within a relevant ethical context. Another key element in gaining AACSB accreditation was to ensure that we were providing the exceptional education that we said we were. This assurance of learning can be translated in business terms as a continuous improvement process, a process of improving our curriculum to ensure the best learning among our students. You'll hear more about that from Mr. Fernandes later. But each program in our portfolio has since 2002 been rigorously and continuously examined and will continue to evolve to meet the needs of our students and the markets in which they will work. When we were confident, not overconfident, but confident, that our values, mission, and goals aligned with the AACSB's parameters and standards, we filed our application in 2006. Once they accepted our application, which two committees of deans had to review, the next thing they asked us to do was to prepare a time plan for when we would get accredited and what it would take to do that. And so our accreditation plan was filed in 2008. And during that process, we continued to implement strategic business processes that would make us even more competitive and comparable with the best business schools in the world. Over the following 2 academic cycles, we put our plan to work. And we were fortunate in November of 2010 to be scheduled for a visit by a team of 3 deans from AACSB accredited schools to review our progress. These were very, very experienced deans. When we added up their total experience, it was almost 40 years. It was 36, 37 years in AACSB leadership at business schools. The process was thorough and positive and concluded ultimately with their recommendation to the accreditation committee at AACSB, who then reviewed and recommended to the AAC board that we be added to the ranks of the accredited schools at AACSB. And that happened right before Christmas. It couldn't have been a more wonderful present. As we transition to our conversation with our guest, I want to remind you again of our Q&A feature. This would be a good time, if you've not yet done so, to type in your questions for us so that we can be sure that we answer them while we're still live and on the air. With that, I would like to formally now introduce Mr. John Fernandes, the AACSB President and CEO, who joins us live by technology from Tampa, Florida. Mr. Fernandes has a great deal of experience in the financial sector. Before joining AACSB, he served as the Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer for the Institute of Internal Auditors, the IIA. Most importantly, he's been the leader as the President and Chief Executive Officer of AACSB for the past 11 years. And under Mr. Fernandes' guidance, leadership, and careful stewardship, AACSB has blossomed and become a global factor. It is the worldwide standard for accreditation and business education quality. And we owe much to that. So with that, I want to thank President Fernandes for joining us today. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Chris. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a few questions. So let me start, and as we go forward, we will have what I hope will be an informative discussion so that the rest of our viewers and audience can understand more about AACSB. First, can you briefly describe AACSB's fundamental mission in business education and how the standards work in your evaluation process?
Sure. Well, first, if I could congratulate the entire Opus College community for doing all the right things the right way. Pursuing AACSB accreditation has only begun to pay dividends in your visibility and effectiveness in preparing tomorrow's leaders. And you're one of only 4.6% of schools worldwide. There are over 13,000 schools worldwide teaching business, and there are 607 that hold AACSB accreditation. While a fairly large number as a percent, it's very small. So it's a prestigious group that you're with. AACSB advances quality management education worldwide through 3 areas of emphasis. Its premier accreditation, its value-added services, and its thought leadership, how we guide the industry. We're going to talk about accreditation today, and there are 3 primary emphases of accreditation. The first is that the school lives its mission, and it has a strategic operating and financial plan to achieve that mission. When AACSB accredits a school, we go back to the Latin derivative of accreditation or origin, and that's what it means to trust the school. So we trust that the University of St. Thomas achieves its mission. The second area of emphasis is participants. We demand strong faculty and we demand strong students. And the third area complements the other two, and that's that each degree program must have learning goals for the graduates, and the school must directly assess that each graduate achieves those learning goals. And the reason for that is that anyone who employs these students, these graduates, we want them to have a guarantee that these students are well prepared to hit the ground running.
Thank you, John. While we're on that part of the topic, perhaps you could talk just a little bit about how once schools are accredited, is there any sense of way they've grown, and importantly, how they have improved following AACSB accreditation?
Sure. Well, I think, Chris, you would agree with me that one of the fundamental assets, besides your charisma in recruiting faculty, is the fact that you're in the AACSB accreditation process. So your growth to date is somewhat supported with all your hard work by the fact that you're pursuing accreditation. Post-accreditation, there's a broader signal to the world that you are a quality institution in one of the top schools, and that's where faculty will want to come. It makes it even easier to recruit. Additionally, the best students will come to your school, and the best students will come not simply from the great academic state of Minnesota. And I do point out that you're one of only 6 schools in a strong academic state in Minnesota that hold AACSB accreditation. Only 2 in Minneapolis. It's a great achievement. But you'll find that that prominence, validated by an organization such as AACSB, will cause all of those measures to improve. It'll cause you to focus on your strategic plan, to renew it, to focus on your quality measures, and you'll see a general, continued, orderly, expected progression in the quality of your business school.
Thanks for that good note, John. We're excited about that. I've got one now that I'm eager to ask that I would not have asked before December. And here's the question. What message would you give students and employers when trying to understand the difference between AACSB accredited versus non-AACSB accredited schools?
I'll make it very simple. Go to the aacsb.edu website, punch up the accredited schools list, and look at the schools on that list. Then look at competitors, if we want to call them that, and see the schools on their list. We have the best business schools in the world. If that's too hard, call any business school that you know or don't know and ask them if they would like to be AACSB accredited, if they're in that process. AACSB was founded in 1916 by the best business schools in the world. At that time, they were U.S. origin, and 100 years later, or close to it, it's still made up of the best business schools in the world. So when I mention that, I know that oftentimes when we go into a broad stakeholdership beyond the community of business schools, beyond students and beyond into employers and the media, there's not the awareness. So simply look at the list of accredited schools in the global context of business schools, or call one that's not accredited and find out what they say. We stand behind our brand. We're the best business schools in the world, and we welcome the University of St. Thomas, Minnesota.
And I just have to add that we are elated and ecstatic and unbelievably proud to be joining this wonderful group of very special schools. Along that line, this may be a little tougher for you, John, but did anything stand out in the St. Thomas accreditation process as the organization looked at us?
Yes, definitely. One of the best thing that you did, I think the toughest challenge, was you didn't seek accreditation in a steady state. You were growing your faculty, growing your student body, and at the same time trying to advance quality, or certainly meet the standards that AACSB put forth. That's a significant achievement. Secondly, is you did it in a very short time. Every school that achieves accreditation is good. They average 5 to 7 years. You did it in about 4. So you did it quicker and in what I would say a dynamic state. Some specifics, I understand you have a very strong faculty mentoring program that the team has pointed out. You mentioned the School of Entrepreneurship. Basically, you've been moving to being a leader at the same time to gaining the acceptance of your peers as being one of the best business schools.
Thank you for that. You just made a big smile on my face, John. I've got one more for you, and this one is much more complicated. But in effect, do you have any sense of how accreditation has any impact on regional economic growth or circumstances once multiple schools are accredited?
Well, I won't give you numbers because we don't track that, but I'll tell you, you will continue to attract even better faculty in larger numbers. And you know how tough the faculty recruitment market is now for doctoral faculty. Secondly, you'll continue to increase the quality of the students that you admit to the school. You're highly likely to have a much greater percentage of international students. These graduates then form a nucleus, a stronger nucleus, to not just advance the community economic development within the Minneapolis community and within Minnesota, but they also bring their expertise back home and bring the image of St. Thomas as being a fertile ground for developing tomorrow's global leaders. So yes, it's part of doing all the right things. You have to have a vibrant business community. It must be entrepreneurial, and you're supporting that. But you need to bring in strong faculty and students. And in the end, that's what makes an economy grow. That's what makes it strong and sustainable. So as I mentioned earlier, you're doing the right things well. The standard now, or the test, is to keep it up. You've built a lot of momentum, so keep it going.
Thank you very much for that, John. And we are thoroughly enjoying your participation in this webcast. The questions are coming in, and before both of us start taking these questions, I just want to spend a very few minutes discussing 2011 and beyond. We've talked a great deal about St. Thomas' past and present developments, but we certainly have no plans to rest and sit on our laurels. Having achieved what I believe is the gold standard of AACSB accreditation, we plan to focus on 2 goals. We want to become a school of first choice throughout the region with a special emphasis on providing the highest quality business education, thoroughly grounded in ethical business practices. And second, we intend to expand our recognition and visibility to a much broader geographic region. This is all part of achieving our vision of being known regionally, nationally, and internationally for our overall excellence in educating highly principled global business leaders. Similarly, we see ourselves forging relationships with employers throughout the upper Midwest and beyond, increasingly showcasing the quality of our education to new borders. And finally, you will see continued examples of our emerging thought leadership in key business topic areas, such as our Center for Ethical Business Cultures publishing the definitive volume on the history of ethics and social responsibility, or the William C. Norris Institute's emergence as a significant pre-angel investor for alumni and student initiation business concepts. So I want to thank all of you for taking the time to participate in this webcast. And now we're going to begin answering your questions. And I've got a few before me. So this one, I think, John, I'm going to ask you to chime in on, as I think you can help us here. The question came in from several of our viewers. What does accreditation mean for graduates of the Opus College of Business who graduated prior to accreditation? Can you help us with that at all?
They got a windfall because now they're graduates of an accredited school. And they can essentially go anywhere. I've had instances where individuals have graduated from non-accredited schools, and especially when they cross borders, it becomes an issue related to the transferability of their degrees, the recognition. as a graduate of the University of St. Thomas, Minnesota, at any point in time in the past that you've graduated, you now can say you're from an AACSB accredited school, and that says something in any country in which you do business or further your education going forward. Thank you.
So for our alumni, a brand new giant door has just opened, and that's a wonderful feeling. This one, let me read it so that we're clear, and I'll start, and then John, perhaps you can chime in with some comments. So it's a multi-part question. What does accreditation mean for future incoming full-time and evening MBA students, and how will it affect their reputation and the reputation of the school itself? And I guess I want to start by saying that you now will be entering a school that has been recognized and acknowledged for the strong, high quality and excellence of the educational programs that you'll be participating in. It's a wonderful sense to know that while you use your own judgment in picking a school, you now have an affirmation that the school you've chosen, if it's the University of St. Thomas in Minnesota, Opus College of Business, excuse me, that it is going to fully deliver on its promise of the highest quality business education. Was there anything, John, that I missed on that?
Well, I'd just say that the bad news is it's going to be tougher to get into the Opus College. The good news is that you're going to continue to advance the quality of your students and your graduates, and that's going to significantly enhance the already well-developed image of the Opus College.
Thank you. Here's one that I think John can take a break on this one, and I'll answer it. The question is, did the Opus College of Business have any form of accreditation before becoming AACSB accredited? And I'll answer that in two parts. There are other entities in the world that do accredit business schools. We made a long-time strategic decision that we were only going to go for the best or none at all. So the university and the business college determined we were going to wait until we could successfully earn the gold standard of AACSB, International Accreditation. However, the University of St. Thomas is accredited by the Higher Learning Commission of the North Central Association of Colleges and Universities. That's a regional accrediting body that happens to accredit all of the major schools at the university level, such as the University of Minnesota, Hamlin, McAllister, St. Olaf, all of those schools have the same accreditation there. And we had that, and we've always had that. So we've been accredited in that sense. But business accreditation, we waited till we got the very first one. Now I've got one that I'm going to ask John to participate in. Here's the question. Is AACSB accreditation a lifelong membership, or does the university need to periodically reapply? You know, in my one thought, I wish, gee whiz, I wish all we had to do was this one time and there it was forever. But I'm going to let John Fernandes tell you what lies ahead for us so that we can maintain this high level. John?
The Opus school does not have to reapply. You're accredited. You're part of the family, but with that comes responsibilities. Each year, you'll be asked to submit extensive data elements on the school's operations, and you'll be benchmarked against your peers. I've done some of that in preparation for this discussion, and I noticed that you compare very favorably with schools such as Duquesne and DePaul and Seton Hall and Dayton. Very strong schools, longer established, longer accredited. So that's nice. But if you don't submit the data, then you won't receive the comparison. If you don't receive the comparison, the school itself will come under some advanced scrutiny. Now, at the 5-year interval, a team of experienced business school deans from peer schools will come back to the University of St. Thomas, Minnesota, to the Opus School, and they'll conduct an in-depth review. The difference with this review versus the initial accreditation is the team will presume that you're already good, but they'll still be checking to be sure you're satisfying the standards, that you're progressing in assurance of learning. But they'll also provide consulting to the school to get even better. And this will happen every 5 years now. And so long as that goes well, the Opus College will remain accredited by AACSB.
I can actually say, John, that we are looking forward to the maintenance of accreditation because of the values that it imposes naturally for continuous improvement. You can't sit back and just say, well, now we've got it and we don't have to do anything. You have to show that as good as you are, what have you done that makes things even better for the next time around? And we're excited about that. We know it won't be easy and we know it'll be a challenge, but with the thoughtful guidance that always comes from AACSB, we're very comfortable that this is going to be good for us. Here's another question that I think might be a little piece for John to comment on, but let me start. And it says, how will AACSB accreditation impact participants in your non-degree education programs? And AACSB, to my knowledge, does not specifically address the non-degree side of business schools. However, our faculty and our facilities and our programmatic offerings are all designed to complement what happens in our degree programs. So AACSB accreditation indirectly adds further affirmation of the quality of our offerings. We use the same talented faculty that have been certified, competent and skilled to teach in our degree programs, teach in our non-degree as well. John, is there any commentary at all on how AACSB looks at the non-degree side of things in the current situation?
You're right, Chris. We don't accredit non-degree education because of its variability, but we look at all of the inputs that go into the production of non-degree education, as Chris mentioned, and particularly from the faculty standpoint. Now, AACSB has established a Blue Ribbon Committee on Accreditation Quality, which commences work this February. And its work will go over the next 2 to 3 years. But I do suspect that one of the areas that they will focus on, because of the expansion and criticality of continuing education to support development of the leaders that we expect, that we will begin to look more closely at non-degree education, not just from the inputs, the faculty and the resource standpoint, but also from the output standpoint.
Good. Thanks for helping understand that for us. Here's a question that I think is going to sit solely with me, but let me read it and see. It's a very thoughtful question. Will a freshman now enrolled at UST but who cannot declare a major until next year when they are a seasoned sophomore have more competition to be accepted into Opus? And that's a great question. Because in some institutions where they have severe constraints on capacity and various things, it's very difficult. I've been at some of those institutions. I'm very pleased to be able to tell you that when you are accepted into the University of St. Thomas as a freshman, you are then eligible to declare a major in business. One of our great traditions and values here at St. Thomas is in fact that all of our students receive a true liberal arts foundation. Business is the largest major at the University of St. Thomas. I'm actually very proud to say that almost 40% of the undergraduates at St. Thomas, when they select a major, select a business major. That's why we built new McNeely Hall, to be able to accommodate the needs and desires of those students who want to major in business. So no, if you're a freshman now or a freshman next year and you enter the University of St. Thomas with a desire to become a business major, we welcome you. Now, we'll give you lots of advice. We have we're I think the only unit in the entire university that has very special professional business academic advisors, and each freshman who wishes one can be signed up with a professional advisor who will guide them in curriculum selection and activities such as that, so that they are fully prepared and have all the background necessary to undertake a business major. When you become a business undergraduate major, you also get a faculty advisor. So you have two advisors, a professional business advisor and a faculty advisor. And the role of your faculty advisor is to act as a coach and a mentor. They will meet with you and ask you what are your goals, your life goals, and your career aspirations, and help you identify the major that makes the most sense for what your skill set is and what you want to accomplish. And then they'll meet with you regularly to make sure that you are identifying the various course options that suit that. And in conjunction with your professional business academic advisor, they'll help coordinate your curriculum choice. So you're welcome to be with us. We're absolutely delighted to have you, and when you finish with your University of St. Thomas AACSB accredited business undergraduate degree, you will be something special. I think we've got pretty much everything wrapped up. So the first thing I want to do is to thank you, John. I know that you're sitting at AACSB headquarters in Florida and you're freezing down there at 60 degrees, but we're delighted to have you here in Minneapolis on the air, where it's not quite that warm, but where it's been very fun. So thank you very much for participating in this.
Thank you, Chris.
And I also want to thank the viewers, our students, our alumni, members of the media, and I suspect there's an employer or two who's tuned in to see what this is all about. This is something very special. The university made a major commitment because it cares about its students, its alumni, and its place in the community. And so with this wonderful result that we have, we can only look forward to where we're going. And I tell you, stay tuned, watch the Opus College of Business. There's a lot of great things happening now and will happen in the future. So with that, thank you very much, and goodbye, everyone.